Well, it's not such a sunny day here. I hope it's sunny where you are, or has been sunny. Our team's off for sunnier climes. But who did they take? Who's on that plane? What's going on with Harry Kane? Where's the new centre-backs? We're going to be discussing that and more. It's Talking Points. Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Paxton Road TV, PRTv, and this is Talking Points number 99. And we are almost there. Pre-season is in full flow, kind of. We've got our first official pre-season friendly coming up against West Ham. It's another of them lots. But before we do any of this, remember, we are going to be changing over to PRTv soon, another YouTube channel. We'll send you all the details, but make sure you look out for it. So by the time the season starts, we'll be fully on that YouTube channel, but all the details will be coming to you. Just stay tuned with us. Anyway, in the house, we have the one and only who is going to be doing these watch-alongs come next week. The one and only. I've got to try and find the button to get him in here. Oh, I don't like that look. I like that look. That's better. Welcome, Sean. How you doing?
I've been laid up most of the week with a bug. I'm still not 100%, but I couldn't miss an opportunity to talk Tottenham, particularly with your good self. And a big hello to everyone out there in PRTv land. I hope you're going to enjoy this. I'm sure I am. And don't forget to smash the like and subscribe and share this stream.
Absolutely. Do all those things as he said. Hit that like button. Make sure you do. Doesn't hurt to do that. Subscribe to this channel and then also subscribe to the new channel. Everybody that's subscribed, we want to go over to the new channel as well. But again, we'll get all those details to you. It will be in the banners and everything. Not in today's banner, but this is episode 99. Sean, where should we start? Let's start with the and let's get it over with, because the Harry Kane saga has been rumbling on and on for some time. He's on the plane. I know you know all the players are on there. Well, I'll go and have a look on the website in a minute and let people know. But so far, what's your thoughts on Harry Kane coming back into the Tottenham fold? We saw a lot of the internationals that were away had extended breaks. James Maddison, Højbjerg, there was Eric Dyer. Was he in? No, might not being in there because he's not an international anymore. He's not even a foot. Sorry. There was a few. Deji was there. Seeing him coming. Romero. GLC, who else did I see knocking about that's coming into the fold? There was a few of them anyway.
Richarlison very late.
Richarlison, yeah. Son's over in Korea still, so he's going to join up with the party at some point over them sides. But pretty much everybody else is there. Everybody seems happy. Our friend Ndombele seems happy, being talked about with big things. And I know we're going to talk about the people on the plane later, but just tell the viewers your thoughts on where you think this Harry Kane saga is, because I'm not, as I said, I think he's going to just hold out. I don't see why he would sign. If he's going to sign, it's going to be between now and the end of the season, depending on how we do. What's your thoughts at the moment then?
There's an awful lot of people getting their knickers in a twist about this, I think. And I think, like you, I kind of think that he's not going anywhere this season unless Bayern get desperate. I mean, Bayern are definitely. There's talk that their CEO had a breakfast with Levy yesterday, and that hasn't been denied. So there's obviously an intent on there, and I think that on Bayern's part is because they need a striker. I mean, they won the league with virtually the last kick of the season last year. Because basically Dortmund imploded in their last game at home. But so their need for a striker is definitely there. I think they'll still be sniffing around come September the 1st, and they'll still be in the mix in January. But I think Kane's, I think the word is he's happy. He's been impressed with Postecoglou. He's happy enough. He's been laughing and joking. He's been hanging around with Maddison, so there's a new teammate. I'm fairly confident that he will be definitely playing for us on the opening game of the season away to Brentford.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. As I said, I don't think it doesn't make sense now. The thing is, obviously, they could put in a really phenomenal bid at some point. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to meet these numbers that I'm hearing. Again, we have to take these into consideration that they are, reports. But if Dele Alli is asking for 100 million, 120 million, or 100 million plus mine, and all those sort of figures, everything so far suggests, and we'll add him in. Here we go. Everything so far suggests you're going to have to wait down there for a little bit till I'm finished talking now.
Carry on.
But I'm going to carry on. Everything suggests that he's going to give it a go. If you think about it logically, if he decides to go now, he'll never know with Spurs. Yes, he's going to go to Bayern Munich. But again, I keep saying, he's not the one holding the cards at this precise moment. Yes, long term, once the season starts and we get into that come January, he is. But Daniel Levy is well within his rights to hold out for any amount of money he wants, regardless of what situation the contract's in. Now, it's up to the team that wants to buy, if they're thinking the value for someone who's in the last year of their contract, less than 12 months to go, is worth the money. Now, is that the difference between them winning the competing in Champions League or winning the Champions League? That could be the case for Bayern Munich. They're going to win the domestic league. If they had Harry Kane, they're going to cakewalk their domestic league. So it's not about winning the league for them. It is about winning the Champions League. I just don't know if we're not going to play this Bale game and wait until we didn't play the Bale because we spent the money before, but we're not going to wait until the last day of the transfer window and say bye-bye to Harry Kane and have nobody up top of any notable credibility. Sid joined us again because of my OCD. I'm apologizing to you again, Sean, profusely, but OCD has to take precedence. But because of that, I'll go back to Sean first before I come to you, Sid, because you was late. Do you think that Bayern are going to put in another bid before the end of this transfer window, or certainly within a period of this pre-season? Because if it gets into the season, it will cause a whole host of problems for us, unless, of course, the club know what's happening beforehand.
I suppose you can never rule anything out, Sam, to be fair. I mean, they could put in a bid. I mean, their need, as I've already said, is quite much. They haven't replaced Lewandowski, and that was the thing that kind of dragged them down last season. And you might say that they win the championship, but they only just won the championship last year, and that was a shock to them. And it obviously there's ructions going on. There's the Mane fallout that they've got to deal with. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they put another bid in, but I think the figure's been, it's the public talk now is it was 100 million, but now it's 120 million.
Yeah.
So if Bayern came in with 120 million, he would be gone.
Yeah, I as I said, there is business, there is sentiment, but 100 million plus, it's got to cause at least a conversation. And in my opinion, that's too much money, provided we get enough time in the window to do it, to sort things out. Even if we didn't, you're going to have to hope that Andrew, and I'm going to call him Cog, is going to have some way of being able to do that. And I think so. They will know what's going on now. I think that conversation has probably been had, and they'll probably know to a degree. Sid, welcome. I know you've been ill this week. Thanks for joining us. Your thoughts on Harry Kane before we move on, because it's a saga that's been drawn out all week. Nothing's happened. We've talks about this big talk that's going to happen. They would have talked on the phone ages ago. So I don't believe all this Harry Kane's going to walk in Hotspur way and have this conversation. The conversations have been had. But as I've asked Sean, do you think Bayern Munich are looking to do something in this window to get Harry Kane at their club?
Right. First and foremost, Sean, I hope you're feeling better, mate, because I know I've recovered, but I hear you're not too well, so wishing you the best of recovery.
Soldiers in this channel, on this channel only.
And we keep go anyway, forget it, I'm not going to sing. Right, so in terms of Kane, Bayern Munich want him. by the looks of it, they're going all out to try and get him. That first bid was a joke. I'm hearing now that they're willing to pay more. Whether that's what Dele Alli price, we don't know. I think TalkSport, I'm sure they broke some news before as well that another team's coming for him, which I believe is PSG now, or competition for Bayern Munich for the signature of Kane. Because obviously Mbappe, their main man, said Mbappe's got to leave the club now. I'm not going to be held to ransom. So they're looking for a replacement. So they're now coming into the equation for Kane. Talks have been had. I totally agree with you guys. Talks have been had. Apparently, there were some talks last night. How true that is, we don't know. But at the end of the day, you know what? The ball is in Harry Kane's court. If he wants to leave, then he has to now come out now and say, I want to leave. I want to go this summer. Take the bids. I'm going. Because he's now gone onto this tour, right? So now everyone's going to be thinking he's not leaving the club. He's going to Australia. Then he's going to go to, I think, Singapore, wherever it is. Then we come back. Doesn't leave much left for pre-season, then starts to finish. Then we play Barcelona. And then we got Shakhtar Donetsk at home. Season starts. This is going to carry on, as always. You know that. I know that. The whole Tottenham fans, the whole Tottenham fan base know this is going to drag on. And
But Sid, do you not think a lot of it's down to the media though? Because again, nothing's been said by Harry Kane. I agree that maybe, but does he have to come out and say something? Does he have to come out and pin any? Because I wouldn't. If I was him,
no.
I'd just keep. Because what happened 2 years ago when he did that, he didn't get his move, and as fans, we were a little bit miffed at that. If he was to come out and say, "I want to go to Bayern Munich now," having had this radio silence, we're all going to be up in arms, aren't we?
Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's all media speculation, and certain channels on TV, that's what they live on. That's the whole summer, the Kane situation. Any breaking news, such and such a player signed for such a club. But what about Harry Kane? It's got nothing to do with Harry Kane. Another club's bought another player. Why do you keep bringing Harry Kane in? And until Harry Kane physically and his mouth moving and he's saying, I want to leave Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, is then when we believe that he wants to leave this club. Up until then, speculation is going to continue. Yes, Bayern want him, but Bayern are doing what Man City have done, coming up with stupid bids, right? Stupid bids to try and, get the momentum going with the press and the whatever. I said yesterday to my boys, I said, let's see if he goes on that plane. If he goes on that plane, he's not leaving Spurs. If he's not on that plane, he's leaving Spurs. He's on the plane. So, and we're hearing that Ange wants to build a whole team around Harry Kane, and he wants to put speed, attacking everything around Kane. So I personally don't think Kane's going to go, right? That's my opinion. But if he does want to, and his brother wants him to make the move because he's probably thinking a lot of money, then make it official. Don't leave. You know what I'm bothered about? 2 days before the season starts, Harry Kane gets a move, and we're left stranded with no striker. That is my biggest concern. I don't think he needs to leave.
I don't think he... Right, okay. I'm going to come back to Sean now. I personally think private conversations have been had. This is all public speculation because it's out in the open and media have to do what media do. There's no official word from Spurs, but there's obviously been private conversations had. Now, if I'm in business, which I am, everybody's in business in some degree of shape or form, you're going to say to yourself, right, behind the scenes, we're going to have some negotiations, we're going to have some talks, and you're probably going to have things that you're going to say to them. Listen, if you want Harry Kane, this is the deal. And these are the conversations that the clubs might have had. Then Harry Kane might have had conversation with Dele Alli and Ange to kind of say, listen, yeah, I do want to go, but I understand that the club's now in a position. I don't want my reputation to be tainted. You know what happened to, and these are the sort of things I think grown men should have this conversation. Now, whether they get out into the public domain is another thing, but they will know whether or not he's going or not, in my opinion, because they would have also spoke with Bayern. Now, if Dele Alli's any sort of businessman, which he is, he's going to say, listen, you've got up until this day to make this bid. If this amount to tickle me is going to be 100 mil, if it's less than that, we're not talking. And then after that, we can't accept. Now, the only way that changes is if they then come up with the money that we want. That might cause a problem, because even though they've given him a deadline, there could be a problem there if it's 120 million, which he's asked for, and somebody says, okay, then, even on the last day of the transfer window, it is 120 million. It's a tough one. But Sean, how would you view if you was Harry Kane now? What would your first things? What would you be saying to yourself, even though you've gone on a plane? You might have made a decision yourself to stay or to go. How do you think your teammates are feeling, and what would you do now? Mute. There we go.
Sorry. You sit and hold tight. I mean, I think the only thing that I believe from what I've read in any speculation is that Kane has left it in the hands of the club. And I believe that. I think he said, if you sell me, then, you know, I can leave with a clear conscience. You've made the decision. I'm not ruling anything in. I'm not ruling anything out. I know that come January, I've got all the cards in my hands, because I can agree a deal outside of England after January, or after June, I can agree a deal anywhere in the world. So I think he's left it in Levy's hands, and I think Levy knows that this is a very, very big decision. And I think that's probably why he met with the Bayern CEO yesterday over breakfast and said, how serious are you?
Yep.
How serious are you?
I agree with that.
And because this is, don't come back to me unless the first figure is a 1 and there's 2 figures after it. And it's not euros either. Fuck your euros. We're Brexit Tottenham Hotspur, right? We want pounds. So, you know, I think, you know, that's what Levy's thinking will be. You know, we have a good season, we get in his ear, we persuade him to sign for life. You know, and that, you know, it's a gamble. It's like people up in tears. Oh God, sell him now because he'll walk away for free. But you know, if he fires us the goals that gets us into the Champions League, we get our money. We just get our money from the TV companies, not from the player.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
It's a massive gamble.
We know Levy's a gambler, because he gambled on 2 seasons or 2 windows or 3 windows, whatever it was, not to buy a player, and we know how that blew up in his face. So but he doesn't want to be the man that says Kane can go.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to be. I mean, his PR couldn't be any worse at the moment, particularly when we talk about the thing we haven't mentioned is the ticket prices.
Yeah, we might get onto that in a little while. The only way Levy comes out of this as a winner, because at the moment I just see a lose-lose situation. If he sells Kane, it's a loss to us as fans. Yes, he might get the money, but if they make that bed late, as I said, they could play games with us. They could put a bid in on the last day of the transfer window. Here you go, there's 120 million. Then we're scrambling around thinking what they're going to do. You have to take that money. I'm sorry, but you would have to take it, regardless of how that would disrupt us. Because I'm looking at this season as being a transitional season anyway. If Harry Kane's there or Harry Kane's not, it's still transitional. If Harry Kane's there, it's a better transition because he's going to score goals. But if he's not there, it's more work for Postecoglou to do. And I think he's well up for that. So I think he's got both sort of plans in his mind. Daniel Levy only comes out of this winning is if we don't sell him, and during the season, he then signs a new bumper contract. That's the only way he wins this and comes out kind of smelling. If Harry Kane gets to sign a longer-term contract at the end, maybe some way through the season. But if he stays at Spurs beyond next year, I just don't see that happening. Personally, if I was Kane now, you know, you could as I keep saying, you could score 25, 30 goals this season. You'd be 17, 20 goals beyond Alan Shearer if the record is really about what it's about for him. He could go away for 2 years, play for Real Madrid, 3 years, in fact. Go and play for whoever he wants in the world and then come back to the UK. And I'm telling you now, in 3 seasons, Harry Kane could score 20 goals in over those 3 seasons. Not a problem, even at 34, 35. But that's just my thoughts. on the matter. The other thing we'll just touch on, I know we've touched on it a little bit more than we should on the Harry Kane thing, but we had to do it. Dele Alli. We've had, I know, Sid, you're a defender of Dele Alli, and I'm going to start off by saying that. So I want you to probably offer your first thoughts on that. It was I couldn't watch all of it. Well, no, I'm going to watch all of it, but I had to stop watching it because it's the human nature that you felt from someone who's just 27 years of age. It was so sad to see, because you could see that was just heartfelt. He probably was forced to do it because of the media were going to come out of all the stuff about him, and it just looked like, I have to do this for my own sake, but also because I just don't want people to make up stuff about me. Sid, it's sad times when you see that sort of thing, but as a player, we saw the demise of Dele Alli, and I kind of understand that to a degree because of what we've seen in that interview. What's your thoughts on that?
Well,
excuse me.
You know what? When that was unfortunately happening, and his playing skills were sort of deteriorating, and everybody was on his case, and we had many discussions on our shows, and you know, you've said it at the beginning, I was always defending the guy from the start to the end, and I kept telling you guys, leave him alone. But, and you know, we knew something was going on, but when you actually watch the whole documentary, which Sean, I know you've done it as well. Did you say you watched it as well, Sam?
Yeah, I watched up to the bit, like I said, where he basically give out all the trauma that he was in, and then he was going into all about, and he broke down. Gary Neville is probably not the most emotional person in the world, but even you could see the emotion that was in him, and you're in a situation where you didn't know what to do. But yeah, I've watched most of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it later.
Yeah, and it's very, you know, it's very compelling, and it sort of now everyone now saying, oh, all right, that's why. And Dele admitted it himself as well, because he, at one point, he asked him, did you not talk to any of the Tottenham players? And he said, there was certain players. And when he said that, I said to my missus, I bet you he's going to say Dyer, Harry Kane. And obviously Ben Davies was the other one. And he said, but I didn't want to listen to nobody. I was not interested, you know, and stuff like that. So, and his adopted family, the family that took him in, and he even said, you know, they were taking me into private rooms, trying to have a discussion. I didn't want to hear none of it. I wasn't interested. It was just my way, and I blocked everyone out. So he's now admitting it, and you know what? Unfortunately, it is what it is. Wish him all the best, and I think now he's admitted he's in the best place. He's gone. He's had his rehab, and what the best part of that interview for me, and even my son said it, was the fact that he turned around and said, because Neville said, "What's next?" and he said, "I want to come back." But it's the way he said it. I want to come back better than what I was in the 15-16 season or whatever it was at Spurs, where I was running the show. I want to come back better than that level. So deep down now, he's got a plan, and he wants to come back. And I hope he does come back, and I hope he does really, you know. And I think Everton will look. He said Sean Dyche is looking after him, and I think he's got the right people around him now. He's come out, so wish him all the best. And obviously, Dele, whenever you're available, Sid says you can come and have a chat with me, because I was always your man. I was always having your back. And no, you know what? Wish him all the best, and I think he'll come back. And you know what? People will laugh at me, but under this Ange system, Postecoglou, I'd have him back, because I think if he come back with his Postecoglou system, I think Ange can get the best out of him again with Kane, Maddison, and that. And I think, you know what? I think he could do it, because he's got the desire. He now wants to do it, but it's a sad situation. But you know what? He's now come out, and best of luck to him.
Sean, you've watched the interview as well, I'm assuming. Give me your thoughts before I just share a few things on that.
First things first, I want to tip the hat to Gary Neville, who handled that interview consummately. I mean, exactly. Gary Neville has got a bit of a reputation of being a laugh and joker, because the overlap, this was part of the series, is usually focused on the comedic side of football. But I thought he did that interview with sensitivity, with understanding, and you know, he genuinely looked shocked when Dele revealed some of the things that happened to him as a not even a teenager. as a child. And, you know, it was a big mea culpa for me because I did get on Dele's case because I'd seen how good he was and he fell away. And, you know, it was obviously his coping mechanism wasn't the best for him. He's gone away to America. You know, he was commending the therapist that he'd been to. And he said, you know, it's not just about me. This is about if I can save one person, then, you know, he's done a lot of growing up this summer, a lot of growing up. And unfortunately, he was forced into that interview with Gary Neville because of the media attention. But, you know, hats off to him. You know, I wish him all the best. There's too much, you know, we're very quick to criticize players, and we don't walk in their shoes. We don't know what's going on or what has gone on. And sometimes I think we need to sort of rein ourselves in. And interestingly enough, first person that he mentioned that looked out for him was Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
Now, there's a man who's gone through an awful lot of abuse on this channel from me, from other people. And yet, you know, I'm looking forward to watching the documentary on him because I'm sure you'll see some of the things about him which will sort of, you know, turn your hair white. I'm already getting there, you know.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't know if you'd finished.
No, it's yeah. I commend any Spurs fan, any football fan to watch that thing. It's 45 minutes. It's not an easy watch.
Yeah.
Not an easy watch.
I said, I had to take a break from it. I couldn't watch it.
You know, if you know, watching it in a break is you know, it's probably not a bad thing either. I watched it just the whole thing, you know, because I wasn't sure that Neville was the right compare, but he did a brilliant job. You know, he did a really good job.
You've got to applaud Gary Neville for the way he conducted that interview, and
because you could be. It's quite easy to be insensitive in that moment, not knowingly insensitive, but you need to have some empathy. You need to have that, you know, understanding that what he might not. Gary Neville probably hasn't gone through any of that sort of stuff, but he's gone through his own. And this thing about, you know, the stats say what 4 in 10 people have suffered mental health. Every single person suffers mental health issues. I don't care who you are. We've all got things that we have to deal with. What you call it is up to you. But how you deal with it in terms of what you do, again, is up to you and how things are. He didn't have any support. My problem with this is it's not a problem, but the reason why I think we were so quick as fans to give these players a hard day is because we don't hear from some of these was from the clubs. You know, we saw the Amazon series that we was on, the documentary series that we was on, and the Jose Mourinho interview. At that sort of time, Dele Alli was going through stuff then, but they didn't address it in the right way. Jose just saying, you can't waste this opportunity. You can't. Now, you can't tell me that these people didn't know he's on sleeping pills. You can't tell me that these people didn't know he's drinking. See, go on. I'm just going to add on SPVP while she's in the building.
Sam, just a little thing before I let you carry on. You know that bit where you just said about the Prime and Jose Mourinho? In that interview, he actually says that the Prime and all the TV company and all the media picked up on him calling me lazy. Yeah. But he said what they never, ever picked up on and never, ever talked about was the day after when Mourinho came over to me and apologized about what he said. But he said not one person or in the media or Amazon acted on that. They just wanted me to look the bad guy and a lazy player.
That's what I'm saying.
He said Mourinho came back to me the next day and he apologized and he said they never ever mentioned that. And that for me, when he said that, I thought that just sums up these freaking TV companies and the media.
It does. It tells me. I've said it. I've banged on about it. You guys know. Sean's saying, you know, there's views about, you know, society in general anyway and what's going on in the world now, but there's clear things in there that could have been addressed a lot sooner. The fact that he was actually forced to make that interview with Gary Neville because whichever red top news outlet was going to out him or whatever, out him. I don't even like that phrase. Whoever was going to then put that as a headline, they were only doing it so they could get more clicks, more attention, more news. It's terrible what they're doing with people's lives. Yes, they earn a lot of money. And one of the things that he did say was, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. But when you're going through those sort of things from 7, 8, those things that he said about happened to him at 7, 8, and 11, people shouldn't actually experience that in life in general anyway. You shouldn't want to have to go through any of that at any point. You know, to experience that and not to deal with it, and then for it comes out anyway in trauma, as he's mentioned. There's a lot to be said for the club, one thing, but also for that documentary. If you said what happened there, I just, it's made me change my opinion, not so much about Dele Alli, because I have to respect him as a footballer, but the way that I was quick to judge him, he just fell off. Because I've seen it before with footballers, are they falling off? But we then get he's a playboy, he's this, he's that. He's just a youngster that was bloody not helped, just not helped. Pav, your thoughts on that Dele Alli interview, if you've watched it, before we move on, because we've kind of got stuck in this little bit on TP, but we're all right. Are you going to talk about? Delay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm here, but no. So I did watch it, and very, very upsetting. And I think it just goes to show how much like the media can twist things and also automatically just jump to conclusions. And the fact that he's had to do that interview, bring himself to actually do it, when he even said in the interview he wasn't ready, but he had no choice. He had no other choice but to shut down everything else. And to know his experience as well, and just like get it from his point of view, because everyone's like just jumped the gun and just criticized him for the way he's been over the past few years and stuff, but no one knows the background. No one knows what someone goes through in their own mind, in their own life. You only see the outside point of view. You only see what we can see, which is like, oh, a football player who's like, you know, rubbish, he's just dropped down or whatever. But everything adds up. Like, it just goes to show how much he has been affected by it. And with the whole Mourinho thing, what you guys were saying as well, and how we only got one side of it, that's just really like, I just find that really bad, because it's like, why are we only getting one sort of picture? And it goes to show that words and events can get twisted, and nothing is the truth unless you actually hear it from the person themselves. And it takes guts that he's come out with that, and the fact that he has, good on him. And that's just, support needs to be behind him. And he's been to rehab, come out 2 weeks ago or something like that. So it just goes to show how much it's affected him and how much he has gone through, and that people did not know anything about it. He kept it to himself and he worked through it, and it's just crazy.
In a strange way, what media have done, that's one of the things that I picked up on very early in his interview. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's internalized things, and that's his upbringing. That's through what he's been through. The fact that he had to do this now, he wasn't quite ready. But I think him doing it now has opened up so much more for him to be able to go on and do, because he's laid himself bare. Nobody can say that he's not laid himself bare. When you start talking about, you know, molestation, you talk about physical abuse, you talk about, you know, drugs and that from before you even get to teenage years, that's a lot to deal with. And then to go through his upbringing in terms of, you know, the adoption, and then it's such a, it's mind-blowing to think that you can play football in that situation and be in the public spotlight and still do what he did to a degree. Yeah, hats off to him. And I hope that a lot will come from this.
Do you know what, Sam, as well? The other thing was what I was quite interested in was when Gary Neville said that when he was coaching for England, he said, and Dele was there, he said he was never been that excited about a player in his entire life. He said the things that Dele could do and was doing, he said he reminded me of Roy Keane / Brian Robson as a box-to-box player. He said, I absolutely loved doing the training for England when Dele Alli was there. So, you know, and Neville knows a few things about players and that, and for him to actually say that as well, he's not just saying that for the sake of it. I think he actually physically meant it. So I think this is gonna go on for quite a while. But you know what? We've addressed it, and we just hope, you know, Ali comes back better and stronger.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. Amazon thing does sum up media in general. This is why they sell stories. They will do anything for likes and clicks and paper sales. Well, this is their business, and if they have to do that for their business, that's what they'll do. We have to. It's down to viewers to make that decision as to whether they want to support that. But yeah, they'll do all kinds to make you watch things. Like I said, it is part of what they do. I'm going to move on to the squad preseason tour. Squad confirmed. I'm just going to read this out here. Obviously, it starts off on Tuesday, the game against West Ham. Is it West Ham?
West Ham.
West Ham. And then we play. Who else do we play? Leicester City in Thailand, and then Line City, Singapore. Right. Okay. So this is the players that went. Bear with me. My eyesight's not as good as it used to be, but I'm going to do it anyway. Brandon Austin, Yves Bissouma, Ben Davies, Alfie Devine, Eric Dyer, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Harry Kane, Josh Keeley, Dejan Kulusevski, Giovanni Lo Celso, James Maddison, Tanguy Ndombele, Ivan Perisic, Pedro Porro, Sergio Reguilon, Richarlison, Joe Rodon, Christian Romero, Emerson Royal, Davinson Sanchez, Pape Matar, Dane Scarlett, Oliver Skip, Mana Solomon, Heung-min Son, who's over in Korea at the moment, Jed Spence, Yaphet Tanganga, Disney Udoji, Guillermo Vicario, Alfie Whiteman. The squad will fly out to Perth, and then you've got some players that I'm not going to go through the players that didn't make it, because it looks like a lot of the first thing I look at when I see that list, there's a lot of players that have gone on this tour. A lot of players. A lot of players that I didn't think would be going on the tour. A lot of players I thought might be, being left to find other clubs. Sean, that list, a lot of players. Are you surprised by some of the names on there?
Yeah, I mean, if you can only go on what the media has said, and they've said that X is going to Y and Q is going to P, and it was further from the truth. The players have travelled. They've gone. I mean, to be fair, you think about it logistically, some of those players only returned on Wednesday. And how could Postecoglou make an assessment of a player in two training sessions? He wants to give everyone a chance, and that includes players that I thought would go. Lo Celso, Perisic, Højbjerg, Sanchez. He's gonna have a look at them before but he'll be making the decisions. He'll be making those decisions. And Ndombele's travelling. The only players that have stayed behind are Bentancur's injured. So is Fraser. So is Parrott. So is sadly Brian Hill. Yeah. And Sessegnon. So, the players that stay behind, and the only one that they've talked about as a transfer is, current club captain, and I think we should mention it, Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris is obviously that much further advanced in terms of getting a new situation. And, I'd like to take this time to salute him for the service he's put in for our club. And, I'm not going to hold a fall in his form against him. He was an integral part of that team that got to the Champions League final in 2019. He saved that penalty against City in the quarterfinal. So good luck to Hugo, and I hope you have a successful life from here onwards.
Yeah, that's fair. Sid, on that list, if you want me to go through some of the, there must be some surprises on there for you. Who did you think was like, what is he going? What's going on here? What's going on?
Well, the obvious ones, aren't they? You've got Ndombele, Lo Celso. I'm quite surprised that Sanchez and Højbjerg, seeing as they're linked with players and they're going to be sold. But for me, Ndombele and Lo Celso are the two, because if you looked at the training pictures this week when they all came, Lo Celso did not look like he wanted to be there. Everybody else was smiling, joke, whatever. This guy just went straight in, and his face was like, I don't want to be here. But it's like Sean said, I think they've all just come back, some of them quite late. And Ange Postecoglou's I don't know if he's been told to give everyone a chance, or whether he said it himself that I'm going to give everyone a chance. But for me, there's certain players there that shouldn't be given a second chance because they've had enough chance to go out. We can't get rid of them. I don't know why he's giving them a second chance, to be fair. But if we can't sell him, then I suppose he's going to have to integrate them into the team somehow. I hope he doesn't, but, you know. And yeah, like you said, Sean, best of luck to Hugo. He's obviously said he wants to leave, so he's looking for other clubs. So best of luck to him, wherever he ends up playing, whether it's abroad or whether it's France or even anywhere here. But yeah, interesting. But you know what's funny thing though? We're only just flying out today to go Australia. West Ham have already been there for 2 days. They've already had training sessions. They've already had behind the doors. They've already had an open session for all the fans to come and whatever. And we're just going to turn up and just play a game.
Did Declan Rice go? Is he gone?
No, he's not gone.
Yeah, didn't think
but
so.
I like the way we're just going to rock up and play and then go to Singapore.
Well, you know, the thing is...
yeah, but West Ham haven't taken the full squad, Sid.
Yeah, but they'll have taken most of them, won't they?
No, because some of them won't be back in time.
Yeah, I suppose. We'll find out what the squad is on Tuesday, innit?
What's your concern? The jet lag thing?
Yeah, because they're going today, aren't they? So they'll get there maybe Saturday. So they've only got like Sunday, Monday to do a bit of session, get used to everything, and play a game. But
yeah,
it's a pre-season, isn't it? So
yeah, they've got the science on this. You know, they know how to get these players in terms of they're not going to be traveling in cattle class, by the way. So they will be very, very, very comfortable. So they'll work it out because they do this because I say when boxers, because I've gone through a few things and seen how they do it when they go to they don't always get there weeks before, but they do it. And my friend was an athlete, said it's about the hours before. Now, effectively, when he was doing his competing, he said you need to be there a day per hour. Now they're 12 hours ahead, 10 hours ahead, whatever it is in Australia. Yeah. You ain't gonna get there 10 days before that to be able to prepare. But they're not preparing for what I would say competitive games, although it's going to be pre-season competitiveness. It's more about the physicality of being able to train. So again, it might push some of these players. You know, they'll have the rest. They'll have it. There's no excuses in here about how you perform. You know, this is part of pre-season, so all of this is part of it. It's the attitudes for me. If players say, "Oh God, I've just been on a plane for a day and I can't. I'm tired," those are not the players I want to see playing for the club. So I don't care about them. I want a player to say, "Yep, I've rested on whatever. We're going to do this." That's the attitude we need to have now. We've got too many theories that we've had previously. Pav, sorry, just going back to the squad list again. Any players on there that you didn't want to get on that plane?
I mean, the likes of Sanchez, Dyer, even you guys might argue with me, Lo Celso as well, and Dombele. Thing is, right, I'm now going to put on my positive hat and I'm going to say that the fact that these players are traveling on.
Oh no,
she's frozen.
Oh no, in an awkward position.
Let me ask you one question.
It's an awkward position. Yes, go on, Sid.
Both for you and Sean. What happened to this?
I don't know if.
Oh, she's back.
Did I lose you guys?
Yeah, you was like that.
Oh no.
It was great. It was
great.
Fantastic.
Okay, right. So no, what I was saying was, if I'm like putting on my positive hat, the fact that like all of these players are traveling to Australia, Postecoglou clearly wants to see what they can bring and stuff, so it will give him an idea and also give us an idea of how like the players are playing under his system and stuff. Like, even though I don't want to see the likes of Davison Sanchez and Dyer, but we're not going to get rid of him, but like even Højbjerg links with Højbjerg, Perisic as well. But I guess this is going to give us an idea of how he is, how they're playing under.
Pav, you're speaking, but you're not moving at all. You are literally just frozen in this position. Oh. But that's all good. That's all good. We don't mind. It's very artistic, by the way. So keep talking. It's like you've got your own thumbnail there, and that's quality. Let's do it again.
It's Rodon's the thinker.
There we go. I like it.
Okay. No, yeah. So it's just, you know, I guess we just have to take it as, let's see how they play in pre-season and stuff, and then hopefully Postecoglou gets an idea of other players and stuff, and it'll give us a rough idea of how they are going to work within his sort of like formation and system and stuff. So I'm trying to put on my positive hat here, but yeah.
Good. You're back with us. I'm back with us as well. I trust the manager. I trust his judgment. I trust what he says. He says they've been working hard. He's very, very happy with some of them. He's happy with some. He said they're all working hard. Now, there's levels to football. There's levels to professional sports. So there's going to be some that are obviously further ahead in terms of their ability, in terms of their fitness, all the rest of it. But as long as someone's putting in the effort, that's all you can ask for. Whether their ability catches up to that effort is another matter. I believe there's some players, doesn't matter how hard they work, they're just not good enough. Postecoglou will find that out, and he'll make those decisions rightly. I'm happy with that. Yes, it's a lot of players to go on that plane, but as we just said, he hasn't had a lot of opportunity to work with a lot of these players if they've only just turned up and they've only just come back, and he's new in the gaff as well, so he's got to give everybody a chance. It's not like the Turin troll who thought, what am I doing here? Oh, God. Just make them run laps and do all that. Nah, I'm seeing structured things, which I would do as a coach, having done that. Work with the ball, work on what you're going to do, possession, small-sided games, doing what you're going to do and how you're going to play. So if you watch some of the stuff, it's all about short, sharp passes, movement, getting the ball, half turns. If you watch even their warm-up drills, half turn, receiving the ball from the cones, half turn, passing it on. Not receiving the ball, looking up, what am I doing? No. What are you doing before you receive the ball? If you drill this into players, they do it automatically. He needs autonomous players that are going to do things automatically, but do it well. There's a few in our team, in our squad, that might struggle with that, no matter how much they get trained. That's just I know you've got to go very soon, Sid, but what's our next thing to talk about then? I guess, go on then.
What's happened to we're gonna have one of these two centre backs?
That's the whole point of the bloody thing. That's why I did the bloody thing, didn't I? Let me put this up because this is what I wanted to talk about. Are you taking the mick, Mr. Levy? There was a couple of things in there just about the Harry Kane situation, but more so about the centre back and Mick van der Ven. What's happened? We ain't got a centre back through the door yet. We've got attacking players. We've got the creative midfielder, Sean. No, start with Sid because you're going to be against it. Start with you, Sid. Talk to me about these centre back because Sid says, haven't says much about transfers, but Sid says what today?
Sid says there's not much to say because we keep getting told about these players that we're going to get, or we're in talks, or it's progressing, or it's doing this. And I said to my lads, I said, listen, these two defenders that we link with, we're not getting them, right? No, everyone's going on about we're going to get one or the other. We're not going to get both. It seems like we're not going to get neither because we're, again, 40 million for Tapsoba. Pay it. Or personal terms have agreed. I can't give it monkeys. I can agree personal terms with my cleaner outside. You know what I mean? That's not a problem. So, and this Van der Ven one, I don't know what's happened with that one. That's sort of gone cold now, but they keep saying, no, don't worry, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. What is happening? I totally agree with you. We're buying attacking players. We're buying whatever. Everybody knew last season where our problem was, the defenders. Aston Villa have now gone and bought Pau Torres. They're showing intent, right? We was after this guy all last season. He's now gone to Villa for about 30 odd million. We're still looking at these two, Tapsoba and Van der Ven. Now I'm hearing we're looking at apparently Bremen. We've got the upper hand on Bremen now, and he could be coming to Spurs from Juventus. We're gone back to the old school where we're just being linked with every player. We're not going to get nobody, and we're going to start with Sanchez, Dyer, and Romero next season. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I do not know. And deep down in my heart, I don't think we're going to get either of these two defenders as well. So
I can see that. That what Henry put here, I can actually,
Yeah.
know, it's not too far from the truth because this Longley thing hasn't gone away. The
No.
Longley thing in terms of the money, because if you think about it, what have we really spent this season? Now, yes, you may say nearly 20 million for a goalkeeper is quite pricey, but we were going to look to spend 40 million because that's the going price for Raya. We got Maddison on a cheap 40 million, great deal. Hands up, fantastic deal. But he went down into the championship, so he was going to be leaving anyway. But we got that done. So brilliant. The Manor Solomon one, as far as I'm concerned, it's a free transfer. I know there's going to be some sort of compensation, but it's going to be a free transfer. So what's going on? What's going on? Are we wanting to get this? Is centre back a priority as we've seen it, or is there something in what they're doing? Because we're going to be playing with one less centre back. So I guess if you think about it, if you put Romero in there, it's Romero and somebody else. But none of the current lot alongside Romero in a 2 fills me with any sort of hope.
And
if I'm honest with you.
One last thing before I'm going to say, and then I'm going to go in, so I won't say anything else. Barcelona fans are tweeting, please get rid of Langley. Please take any money for Langley. That says it all.
Yeah, if they're literally trying to boot him out, they might even give him away free. Sean, centre backs was the priority all season. We were playing a back 3 then, so we were expecting us to be a bit more defensively solid. We were terrible in defense. If we play a back 2, I cannot see with the current squad how that works unless we literally have the ball all the time. Are you thinking that they are taking the mick with this Van der Ven and Tapsoba? Is it just media talk? Are we looking at other targets? Is PRTv playing a bit of a game as he's been? Your actual thinking, do we get Romero another to play? And is it going to be Dyer, Sanchez? Do you have a Tanganga? I don't know. Tell me about what your thoughts are about this whole centre-back saga. Mute.
The sooner this bad cough goes, the better. I'm going to have to keep muting myself. I think they want Tapsoba or Van der Ven, but it's proving more difficult to do that. And as usual, we make our transfer business so fucking public that other clubs get alerted. And now Van der Ven is on the radar of Liverpool. Well, if Liverpool come in, he's going there. Let's have it straight. You know, I'm not worried about Pau Torres. Pau Torres was always going to go to Villa because he played for
Villarreal.
Emery. Yeah, he played for Villarreal and he played under Emery. I despair that our transfer window is gone back to front. I can understand them moving quickly to get Maddison.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But a 5-year contract for a new Lucas Moura, as far as I'm concerned, it's not it doesn't inspire me. And it's clear 63 goals conceded. That should be worn as a badge of shame at Lily Whitehouse. 63 goals. The last team to score and concede 60 goals, Tottenham Hotspur in 2007. I've had enough of these, of this faffing about. You know what you need. You need defensive reinforcements. Go and get them. There's loads of them about. And if you have to spend the money, you have to pay English tax, then do it. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing those same clowns,
What makes me mad is we'll probably see some good performances out in pre-season from some of these players. And what happens is we get a little bit clouded because the new managers come in. Because we've had so many new managers come in, you get, and it is real. There is a new manager bounce. The new manager bounce is players wanting to perform to at least prove that they're at the club for a reason. But pre-season is not competitive enough. It's competitive to a point, but it's not competitive enough to know what the players are like under real stress. Because if you lose a pre-season friendly, oh, well, it was more of a training session. That's what you could do. That's what I used to do when I coached. It's more of a training session, lads. Don't worry about the score. Don't worry about the result. I was working on this. But you can clearly see players who just can't adapt to certain things after a period of time. So, yeah, you're going to get some. You might even see Sanchez perform well on the left side of centre back for a game. He can do that possibly for one game. Although saying that, I've never seen him do it for one game, but he could. He could. Yafa Tanganga could come in. They could all have good games. But Pav, the centre back situation, as Shauna said, is, to quote a bit of a pun, dire. It's dire. We conceded 63 goals. Let that actually sink into you. We scored how many? Was it 67? It was 60 something anyway. And we conceded 63 or 62, whatever it was.
And 10% of them were in one game at St James's Park.
Now, take away Harry Kane's goals, and even if you supplement Harry Kane's goals by another 15, because I don't think the top scorer in if it wasn't Harry Kane, would have got more than 15 to 20 goals. That would put us way, way closer to the bottom three than we currently are to the top three. So, your thoughts on the centre-back situation. Are they taking the mick, or do you think there's a plan in place?
No, I think they're taking the mick, man. I think they're doing the same thing that they always do, is that, we try and get someone in, or, they have thoughts about who we're getting in, but they actually don't, they don't build upon that. And I think I'm that type of person that I won't believe what the media says. I mean, we've been linked so much with like Van der Van and then, Tapsoba and those sorts of players and stuff. And like, Fabrizio was saying, it's getting there, he's going to sign it or whatever. And then, wow, all of a sudden, like today or yesterday, they said, Liverpool are hijacking the flipping deal. Like, what's gone wrong there? Like,
I've told people about Fraudano. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's like, if I was in that player's shoes, and they said to me, right, you have an opportunity, Spurs or Liverpool, where would you go? I'd go Liverpool. Like, I'm not being funny or nothing. I'd probably choose Liverpool because, of how, like, they are as a club at the moment and stuff. But, like, I don't know what is going through Levy's head. And I think, is it not a priority? Do you not see it as a priority? You're clearly not taking it seriously because you're keeping the likes of Dyer still. And then now the fact that we're being linked to Longley and the fact that we're going to probably sign him on a permanent deal. It's like, what? You can clearly see that they're two crap players and they're doing nothing for our club. Yet you want to still sign him. Yet you want to give them an opportunity. What is going to be different? They're not going to change up. Oh, especially Dyer for a fact. Like, look how he's been under so many managers. Has he changed? No. Maybe he's done a bit of like fair. Some games he's been fair or whatever, but there's no consistency there. He is a crap player, and that's that. And the fact that we've still got him and we're being linked to Longley goes to show that maybe the media is just twisting this all and nothing's going to happen with the centre backs. And if that is the case, then our transfer window is going to go down the drain. Yes, we've signed Maddison. Wow, well done. Good job. We've been chasing him for years, whatever. But what else have we done? What else can we sit there and say we've done a good transfer window and we've got the players that we need? We haven't.
I can't disagree with anything you said. Maddison was a great transfer, don't get me wrong. But had we not got Maddison, there was still the opportunity to possibly look at the Celso, which they're doing. There's an opportunity to possibly put in somebody else into that creative midfield space, depending on what Postecoglou wants. he could look to put somebody else in there. So yes, it was a priority, but you could have got away with it if you wanted to. I don't think we can get away with defense, particularly centre back. We can't, because one injury to Romero, what we've seen, is going to have a catastrophic problem in our defense when you're playing two. And this comment here is completely relevant because we were a counter-attacking team, supposedly playing a low block to mid block to defend to counter. Supposedly that with a back three means you don't concede as much because the central area is packed out. But we were so open at times. That Newcastle game was scary. It was scary. I know we kind of, I don't even know what we were playing system-wise, but the thoughts of the players were still defensive-minded. They looked a shambles, and that was confidence. Yes, I know. But there were other games in there. Sean, who do we need to get through the door if we have to get one centre-back in? And we have to be realistic in who were the targets that we're chasing, because again, there was another comment here about some of the targets that we're looking at. Tosin, Longley, they're the names that are kind of now coming up, as opposed to Tapsoba and Van der Ven, which are now kind of, whereas Fraudano was saying, yep, it's not quite a here we go, but it's him. Off. I know I don't listen to none of that bollocks because I know how football goes. Until that player has actually signed, physically done medicals and putting shirts up, there's nothing concrete. There's nothing concrete. Who are we getting?
Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure someone will come through the door as a centre back. What we need is a Tapsoba rather than a Van der Ven. What we need is a Bremer from Juventus, Brazilian international, or we need to go to Crystal Palace and pay whatever they want for Mark Guay. That's what we need to do. That's how
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. But are we going to do it?
No chance.
I don't know. I mean. I was looking at a video today on the Tifo website, the Tifo Athletic website, and how Arsenal have managed, how are they able to spend 200 million? And, their wage bill is not much more than ours. But they've managed to spend 140 million last window, but summer window, 100 million previous, they're backing their manager and they're getting players who are first team ready. First team ready.
Fit their system. And
fit the system. We've got a hodgepodge of centre backs. I mean, we're even assuming that Romero can play as a 2 because he does it at Argentina. I don't know whether he played in the 3 at Atalanta when we bought him. I'm
worried.
I'm concerned. I am concerned. I saw. The last thing I was watching before I came to join the stream was a post on Reguilon's Instagram, which shows his shin bleeding profusely, and the quote is "Cootie is back," and I'm thinking, oh my god, he's injuring our players who've only just arrived back at training, and I just think. Is this guy is he now become, is he just living up to his reckless reputation? I don't know. I'm I am concerned that we've not addressed the centre-backs. I wanted centre-backs in before they went away to the tour.
Oh, yeah. I just
absolutely wanted centre-backs.
It's essential. It's essential.
And we're not doing it. And I feel I'm fully behind Andrew Postecoglou. Everything he says, everything he's done so far, his press conference there on Monday was absolutely brilliant.
First class.
And yet he again is being undermined by our recruitment. I mean, when I heard that Paxton was acting as a consultant, that's when this nonsense of, on, you know, he sets up deals here and sets up deals there and then decides which one to pull. No, you identify the player you need and you go and get that player. I'm sick and tired of this faffing about.
It's
No one does that. No one does that.
Ridiculous.
And it's you know, until Levy, you know, loses his hard on for Paxton, we're not going to go forward. The man needs to be sent away from football. He's shady as hell, and yet we're using him as a consultant.
It's beyond me. It's really you said everything that I wanted to kind of felt on. It's beyond me how they haven't prioritized this enough. Yes, the goalkeeper is important, but we even saw with the goalkeeper situation, if reports are to believe, we have to always take that with a bit of a pinch. Yes, Rare has been priced at 40 million, but no one's coming from him yet. But that was the price for him. If you really wanted that keeper, as the same way Levy's doing with Harry Kane in his last year of his contract, that's the price. That's the price. Arsenal have put in a bid of 105 million for Declan Rice, which in my opinion is twice as much as he's worth. In my opinion. Now he's probably in the 60 million if you really push, but he's not £100 million player in anybody's books because he's a defensive midfielder. In theory, they haven't bought him to play an advanced scoring, attacking Odegaard style. They've brought him to replace Thomas Partey if they're playing a 4-3-3. But they're spending 100 million on a defensive midfielder.
It was their priority. It was their priority decision.
Exactly
their priority target.
It was their priority position. Our priority was not Emmanuel Solomon. Yes, the goalkeeper was probably. Our priority was not, even if people would say we needed a creative, was not James Maddison. Because we scored 70 goals last season. Harry Kane got 30 goals. We can score goals. I don't think there's an real major problem with getting goals out of the team. It depends on how you get them, yes. And having James Maddison's going to enhance that. Don't get me wrong about that. But I said it on this WhatsApp group. We are going to be Kevin Keegan's Newcastle if we're not careful. Postecoglou, as always, in his first few games, struggled because the players have to adapt to their system. So we might have a couple of losses in there. He did that everywhere he's been. The second season at Celtic, he went on a massive run. We know that, yes. But there's always going to be them teething problems. The robustness of our players worries me if that happens. Pav, you've gone into darkness. I like that. Kind of gone into some darkness. But because it is a dark situation with the centre-back. It's very dark. I'm concerned. How concerned are you about this centre-back situation if we don't get it resolved in the next week or so?
Very. I mean, if we don't address it and we don't sign who we need, then we're going to have a serious problem next season. And it's just going to be a repeat. Like, yeah, Postecoglou has come in and stuff, but he needs to understand that he needs to address the problems that lie within our team. And centre-backs are a really big issue. And if that's not addressed, then we're stuffed. Because if I'm not being funny enough, and if we sign Longley and we're keeping Eric Dyer, there is going to be a big issue, right? We have no sort of backup, no sort of, direction there. We're just going to be exactly the same as last season. Yeah, we've signed other players and stuff, but how relevant are they realistically going to be to our team? Because centre-backs have an important role. And the people at centre-back at the moment, they're useless, okay, realistically. And if it doesn't get addressed, then he has got a massive issue and he's going to regret it. So I think he needs to think long and hard, and hopefully, hopefully we do sign someone and it goes all well. But if it doesn't, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Like, what is his next plan then? Because there is no other plan. Do you know what I mean?
Coaching's going to come into this. He's going to improve players. I'm not concerned about that. But what I said, and I said the statement earlier, there's levels to football. There's levels to professional sport. Some of these players cannot do what he's asked. Hence the reason why we have transfers. Because if you get a new manager with new thoughts, some players can't do it. Some players can adapt. Some players that he's already seen probably can adapt to his system. I agree with that. But my major concern is Barcelona were trying to get rid of Longley. They're giving him away because they play in a back four. He wasn't very good. And they're better than us at possession football. They're better than us as a team. And they want him out. He's going to come into a team where we've already stated that we're playing a back four this season. If he's one of them back two alongside Romero, and let's say Romero gets injured and it's Dyer and Longley in a back two, exposed on the halfway line, ball knocked over the top, because teams are going to work us out in them early days. As Postecoglou said, we are going to have some teething problems. Kevin Keegan's Newcastle. Unless we outscore teams, we are going to be seeing 4-3s and the 3-2s, and it's going to be either one way or the other, but we're going to have to hope we come out on top. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to come out on top. We need to sort these two centre-backs out, says Andy. Business been good so far, but come on last season, if you don't do something in defence, you'll see the same. Sean, what was you going to say?
I was going to say David's made a really good point in the comments about Tapsoba. I forgot about the African Cup of Nations, which happens in January. We're going to lose Basuma. We're going to lose, and if he took Tapsoba, who I'd actually prefer Tapsoba over Van der Ven because he's slightly older and there's more about him. Van der Ven is still quite raw and young. He's a development player rather than a finished article, whereas Tapsoba's that bit more of a. So and I'm not jumping on the get rid of Dyer bandwagon. Sanchez needs to go before Dyer by a country mile, I'm afraid. And I think we just need to sort it out because I'm not confident. High line pressing. That what we've got at the centre of our defence will do the job. It won't, it won't work.
It just won't. We're going to have to hope that we have more possession and we can suffocate teams and get the ball back. Because, like I said to you before, the Premier League is definitely going to be a step up for him. He's going to learn, and I'm happy and hopeful that Postecoglou will learn. But there's going to be teething problems, and I keep stating we were playing a back three last year in a counter-attacking system and we conceded 60-odd goals. Numbers tell me even if we were to concede 10 less goals, it's still going to be 50-odd goals. But we're playing a back two. That's the problem. And we're going to be squeezed so... Do you remember when Liverpool were playing that and Klopp refused? He refused to change it. He refused to drop back. He just kept on playing the high line. All teams said, all right then, if you're going to do that, knock that ball over the top. Because their wing-backs, or not wing-backs, their full-backs in Robertson and Trent were so far up the pitch, you are exposing to be 2v2. Brentford will play two attackers against our two defenders. I'm telling you that for a fact. That is a fact that's going to happen on that first game of the season. They will play
the good thing about that, Sam, though, is not one of them won't be Ivan Toney.
Might be a good thing. But if they put speed merchants on there, which I expect them to do, that's what I would do tactically. Put some speed merchants in there. Let's test these centre-backs with a ball over the top. And they're going to be at home. Yes, it's the first game of the season, but the blueprint in terms of how teams will see, they will watch and say, right, that's how we play that team. Until we get better, it's going to be quite a challenge, shall we say, for us. We're going to lose Son 2 for the Asian Cup or something like that. They could be missing for about 7 games. Lucky we're not in Europe then, isn't it? Because that's February. That would have been February on the Champions League.
Well, that's presumably where Solomon comes in. He's obviously the backup for Son. Yeah. So
I'm happy to. Don't get me wrong. I think we're all. I don't mind Dyer if he was playing for a few games. If he has to come into the team, he can play a few games well. It's consistency. He cannot be 36 anything like that in terms of games being played this season in the league. If he is, we ain't done nothing. I don't care if we get in. Some people say I don't care if we get Mbappe in. I'd like that. But if we did get someone of that ilk to play, it wouldn't matter because the defense is not good enough. So much coming up. Sean, do you want to tell the viewers about the watch-alongs, and then we'll get final thoughts from Pavan and yourself?
Yeah, I've set up watch-alongs for the tour games. So the first kickoff, I think, is 11 o'clock on Tuesday against West Ham in Perth. I know my brother-in-law and my nephew will be at the game, definitely. So yeah, look, join us for those if you're available. Excuse me.
Just having a little bit of a cough break. Oh, God, you're not well, man.
Yeah. So yeah, feel free to join us. Kickoffs are the first two are midday-ish from memory, and the third one's an evening kickoff. So look forward to joining us, and I will talk through the Spurs play coverage, which I will have on my phone beside me. So you'll be there.
I think it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, 11 a.m. For the first one. I think for the second one as well.
Yeah, the first two at 11 a.m. I think that's the one after that's 12. Pav. Oh, some light. She's got light. She's come out of the darkness. Pav. Yeah, we've got some preseason games coming up. What are you looking forward to seeing? And then give me your final thoughts, as you please.
I'm just looking forward to, seeing Postecoglou in action and just seeing what he does with the team. Obviously, it's pre-season, so we can't take too much from it because pre-season's pre-season, right? But we can get a rough idea, and we can also get a rough idea of his formation and his tactics and how he is as a manager. What overall I think as a whole is that we really do need to address this centre-backs issue, because I think we're going to have a huge problem if we don't. I think what needs to happen is we need to sign at least two. Like you said, guys, I don't want to be negative around Dyer either. If we have him for a short period, it's not that bad, but like you said, Sam, there's no consistency there, and we need someone that's consistent. And whether it's Tapsoba or Van der Van or I don't know, whoever, we just need someone that's consistent that can take on that role, because otherwise there's going to be a huge problem. But I actually can't wait for the season to start, but I don't think that the season should start until we actually sign some centre backs. So we're just going to have to see.
David Clark's got it right. Vicario will at least get plenty of practice.
Yeah,
right.
True.
For pre-season, again, results don't matter. That is to a degree correct. We are playing West Ham. Yeah, you want to beat them, but if we don't, not a problem. But what I expect them to be able to see is the tactical aspect of it and the fitness aspect of it, which should be improving, but I don't mind if they're not quite there, because you're not expecting the players to be 100% fit, and you're not expecting them to get the 100% of the tactics yet, because this is what they're developing. What I can't have is technique. These players are professionals, and they have been professional for a long time. If I see players not being on the half turn, if I see players misplacing 5 to 10 yards passes, if I see players knocking a ball 30 yards that then flies out into the stands, that's technique. That has nothing to do with fitness, has nothing to do with tactics. That means they haven't improved. Everything that I've read about Postecoglou, fans have said, yeah, we might have had a bit of a ropey start, but we could see what he was doing. We could see the improvements. We could see this. We could see that. If I don't see certain players improve technically, and I'm talking about the defenders here, and I'm talking the likes of, if I see Sanchez on the left-hand side and I see the same old mistakes being made, or I see Dyer doing the same things, backing off, and touching the bloody penalty spot before we even engage. Technically, that's terrible. But I'm hoping that I don't see that. I don't mind us losing to West Ham. I don't mind us losing to Singapore. I don't care about the result, but I want to see improvements technically from these players. They won't be up there fitness, and they probably won't be up there from a tactical point of view, but certainly not technically. That's just me. Okay, final thoughts, Pav.
I've just done it.
Well, you come out of the light, didn't you? Or that darkness, should I say?
Basically, in other words,
Jesus.
you know, we just need to address that issue, the centre back issue. But bring on the new season. I actually can't wait. I mean, watching that Postecoglou interview as well has got me buzzing because I'm already loving the guy. So gotta keep positive, guys. I'm putting my positive hat on now. It's not retired yet.
Nobody likes a smart ass, and that S has now become smart. Smart, positive Pav. That's what I'm going to call you from now on, smart, positive Pav. Sean, your final thoughts then, if you haven't given them already.
Yeah, just let's go with the ride. Let's let's see some patterns of play. That classic phrase that we were expecting from the Turin troll, which never, which disappeared off the face of the earth, along with his original hair. But yeah, let's see, as I say, that some aspects. Remember, some of the players have been in since the 1st of July. Some of them turned up yesterday, Richarlison in particular. So it's not going to be it's going to be a patchy performance. Let's hope they're doing roll on, roll off subs, and they're not overplaying the players as well at this time. That we get to see a bit of. I want to see the kids get a chance. I would like to see Divine. It's a shame that Brian Hill has picked up an injury. But let's see some of the youth. Let's see how good Vicario is with his feet. Let's not worry too much about the results. Although, just for harmony in the Clark household, I hope we stuff Leicester City.
As I said, pre-season's pre-season. I'm looking forward to seeing the likes of players that I think didn't shine last season that we've already got, and that's the likes of people like Basuma. I want to see how he plays and performs now in an environment where I think a manager will probably get the best out of him. Possibly Ndombele, possibly. These are the players I want to see get an opportunity just to see if it is just the Turin troll, or was it Mourinho, or was it Nuno that caused them not to play at their top level? Was it just the club was just whatever it was? Everybody's got a new lease of life now, and if that's the case, a change is as good as a rest, as they say. That's what I want to see. I am concerned about the defense. I want to see the style of play. I want to see Doji, how he performs. I want to see what they do with Pedro Porro. I know Harry Kane. I know Kulusevski. I don't need to really know about them. But James Maddison, another player that I really am excited to see how he fits into the system, how he's going to be deployed, and what's his relationship going to be with Harry Kane from a link-up perspective, because you can see that they're mates and you can see they're having a bit of a laugh, and that's a good thing, unless Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich at the end of this window. And it will all be for nothing. That's it, Sean. We've done enough today. We've been 1 hour 25. Stop
that talk of Bayern.
No, I know. I've got to throw it in there, mate, because you did it as well. You did it. So I'm doing it. Well, in all honesty, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to hold out, and we might have to lose Harry Kane on a free, or the best case scenario, we convince him to sign another deal at 400 grand a week. Whatever that was going to be, I don't know. But unless 120 million comes in, or 100 million plus Mane, Bayern Munich, see you later, mate. I'm not having none of that. Pav's gone. Sid's gone. Just me and you, the original two, which you started out, and we're back into where we started. Oh, viewers, I think you know what to do. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe. But remember, we are going to be going over to PRTv. The next show actually might be streamed on there as well, so look out for it on YouTube. You will see us. And then all of you go across and sub on that same day and like on that same day and all the rest of that stuff as you would normally do.
And I hope to see as many of you as possible at 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning to see
There you go.
the first game of
West
the
Ham.
Postecoglou era.
West Ham. It's West Ham. West Ham, less Declan Rice and other few players maybe. Great show. Great chat, Levy. Late deals as always. Thank you, Dino. We thank you for all your comments. We don't always get to address all of them, but it's more of a, we want to do more of a talk. You know, we've got loads of shows and Sid said it's more of an interactive one. This is more of a podcasty. I like to think of myself as the Paxton Road Joe Rogan. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Let's not go too far. Let's not go
Be careful
too far.
now. Be careful now.
Let's not go too far down.
They're trying to cancel Joe.
I know they are. I hope they don't. They can't. He's bulletproof. I hope. Well, no one's bulletproof. No one's bulletproof, but I hope he's as bulletproof as they can be. But that's it, Sean. Thank you very much. PRTv Zone. Look out for that. Watch along Tuesday. Watch along Saturday after that, and the other turn. You'll see all of them. But they're all coming up. If you've got Spurs Play, you can watch it. If not, join this man here. This man here. And he will give you the insights. Who are you going to be joined by? Anybody coming on there? Because I can't make it, unfortunately.
I don't know. I'll put out an appeal to our regulars. I mean, I know that your boy joined me last season, but obviously he's a little bit further away.
Yeah.
So, you know, feel free to...
I might put some feelers out there as well for you. I might be able to put some feelers out there. It's just 11 o'clock. Those who are, you're in a lucky position that you've able to have that, you know, that almost like semi-retirement. I'm getting there. Not there yet. Not there yet. But I'm hoping to have that very soon. That's it. We talked enough. Paxton Road TV, PRTv, do all the necessaries, and we will see you again soon.
It's just different.